Everybody's all high about the new G80 M3. I am myself as well. But I want to go over today why you still should consider buying an F80 M3 right now with this crazy market. I'm out here in Southern California for a work trip, and while I was here, I rented an F80 M3, and I'm going to give you guys 3 big reasons why you should consider buying one still today. Here we go. Listen, styling is subjective, so I'm going to be subjective here. I think the F80 Generation M3 is one of the nicest looking ones that we've ever seen. The styling, I think, will be timeless. I love the rear end. I love the grille. I love how the fender vent looks, and then the body line comes out of it and travels through the door handles all the way to the back of the car. I think it actually looks better on the sedan than it does on the coupe. The small bump on the hood also gives it a subtle differentiation from the regular F30 models that we've seen. I also love the styling of the F80 front bumper as well. You will also never run into brake fade with these giant rotors and brakes on the front, and I love BMW blue brakes. The F80 is also significantly wider than the regular F30 models, and the rear quarter panel bump out looks amazing. It even fits in perfectly with the door. I love the way it looks from the side and the back. The front is also wider as well. Overall, you just can't go wrong with the exterior looks of the F80 M3. Now I know they went with the ZF8 automatic in the G80, and they've gone away from the DCT transmission in this car, and for good reason. But in terms of DCTs, this might be one of the best ones you could get outside of like a PDK. 7-speed dual clutch, shifts awesome, very docile in like stop and go traffic like we're in right now. I'm literally just driving all the way down the beach to Mission Beach. I'm going to go to In-N-Out Burger because I haven't had one in a while, so that's where we're heading right now. This aftermarket exhaust makes the 3.2 downshift sound so good. Ready? Oh yeah, sounds great. I think this is a Remus exhaust. The car is completely catless downpipes and everything, so it's pretty rowdy. I'm going to head up to Palomar Mountain. Up Palomar Mountain Road. It's about an hour from where I am. Should be a really nice drive, a lot of twisties. What's great about California is there's a lot of hills and a lot of good twisty roads you can drive on out in the mountains, which makes this trip a lot of fun. This car I think this car is lowered on springs. It's definitely very stiff. And I'm also driving it in the stiffest setting because I want it to be stiff. So, but it definitely is stiff. I don't dislike it though. It'd be great for a road trip if I put it in a comfort mode. So one of the things I really wish my old M235 had was the adjustability between Sport, Sport Plus, and Comfort. This car allows you to have different feelings. So you can have Sport Plus steering feel, but Comfort suspension. And you can have Sport Plus throttle input with Comfort suspension. It's fully customizable one way or the other. My M235, my 5 Series, doesn't have that customization ability. You have to be in Sport Plus, balls out, or nothing. There's nothing in between. So with this is great. Now obviously for me, I'm in full sports settings because we're going up a nice mountain road, and I'm telling you, we're not even up the road yet, and I'm already having a blast driving this thing. These cars still have loads and loads of options available: navigation, backup cameras, parking sensors, comfort access, just like you'd get in any other BMW of the era. I had an F30 330i, which interior-wise is exactly the same as this, but obviously you're getting better steering wheel, paddles, and what I really, really love is these seats. These seats right here are probably one of the most comfortable BMW seats I've ever sat in. If you're a bigger person, maybe not, but I actually think these seats are more comfortable than my 5 Series seats, my 540i. And those are sports seats, and they're nice and cushy, but this, I feel like this just hugs me better. Does this have adjustable lumbar? It does. This has adjustable lumbar. These seats really kind of hold me in much better than my 5 Series does, and I think my 5 Series seats are great. Right now, everybody is just going crazy about the new G80, and while the new G80 M3 is great, it is really, really hard to find one right now for anything less than sticker or at sticker. These dealerships are just going crazy trying to get as much money as they can for them, and I get it, they're not making a lot of vehicles right now, and that supply shortage is causing cars like this to go up in value, but you can still get an F80 M3 or an F82 for probably still half of what you would get a G80 for, and I don't know if the G80 is twice as good of a car. It definitely, especially if you get a comp all-wheel drive, it's going to be better out of the hole, but this car packs a ton of power. There's a lot of good modifications you could do to a car like this that we're going to talk about next. In stock form, variations of this car will be between 414 horsepower and 450, depending on which model you get, obviously CS or comp. The difference, though, it really is not necessarily in the stock power. These cars trap like 115, 116 miles per hour in the quarter mile. They run low 12 seconds right out of the box, which for me, I think that's a great power level for a car, especially if you're going to be doing track driving. And I love track driving, and that's a perfect power level for a car. It's a perfect power level for going through canyons and such too, like which what we're going to do today. But because this car has an extra turbo compared to my old N55, it has potential to make so much more power. So I think the S55 and the N55 are very similar engines in a lot of respects. The M235 and the M2 N55 have forged internals that are similar to what you see in this car. The regular N55s don't, so this can handle a lot more power. But these extra turbos really wake up when you do a catless downpipe, intakes, and a tune, and even if you add ethanol to it. So even just on 93 pump gas, if you can get it in your area, there's only 91 out here in California, but where we are in New York, you can get 93. These cars make like 450 to 475 horsepower to the wheels with just an intake, tune, and downpipe on pump gas. And if you add in full E85, these cars can make closer to 600 horsepower to the tire. And that really equates to somewhere in the 10-second quarter mile if you can hook, and trapping 135 or 136 miles per hour in the quarter mile as well, making it a pretty formidable car if you're going to be on the street. There's not a whole lot of cars that are out there that would really be able to compete with that outside of full-on built-out race cars. So you're really going to be in a good spot if you do the modifications. Personally, if I had one of these, I probably wouldn't go full bolt-on. Maybe just a tune, but I still want to keep it on pump gas. I like the power that these cars come with stock for the way I like to drive around on track and through the hills and stuff. But if you're in a roll race, you're going to want that corn. You're going to want that corn. After a full weekend with this car, put a lot of miles on it, really can give you my honest opinion on it. It is probably one of the coolest cars you can get for the money, even if you got to spend over 40 grand for one, and I know some of these are going for like 50. But it does everything. You can take this thing to a track. It's still docile on the street. It sounds good. I still think the best sounding BMWs are the single turbo varieties, like the B58 and the N55. I do think they sound better than this, but the second turbo makes a lot more sauce. So I get why people want to get one. My early weekend in San Diego was an absolute success. I wanted to see a couple of different things, and I really was able to do that. I wanted to go up Palomar Mountain. That was an awesome trip. I'm gonna do a separate video just on Palomar Mountain because that drive is one of the best drives I might have ever been on a public road. The next thing I really wanted to do was, I really wanted to see what the car scene was like in Southern California. I went to 2 separate car meets. One was a Cars and Coffee in the morning, and then another one was a night meet around 7 o'clock, and went till midnight almost. So both were totally different in their respects, and I'm gonna also do some videos on that as well, so stay tuned to that. And obviously I'm doing a video here on the M3, so there's gonna be a bunch of content that's gonna be hitting the YouTube channel about my trip out to California. So make sure you guys check all that out, and make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all these uploads. So all in all, I absolutely love BMWs, so of course I'm gonna be a little biased towards an M3. The F80 is just a fantastic car, and it's a great bargain right now if you're thinking about getting a G80 and you don't want to spend over sticker for one. You can get one of these, and it's not going to kill you. It's not going to be double the price. I don't know if the G80 is double the car. It has to be a better car than this, but I don't think it's double the price. So I think this is a great bargain for what it is. There's still a lot of them out, lots of different color combinations. So if you're thinking about getting one, you might want to get one now, because M cars usually tend to still kind of hold their value over time. If you look at E36s starting to go back up, E46 is starting to go back up, E90s never really went down, F80s probably going to be in that category. So I think you guys should consider getting one. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.